Yo, I'm Lord Rule, aka Mega Blitz. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Gouging Fire EX. Now, I've been playing a good bit of Gouging Fire EX lately, and the reason is because I'm looking for a deck to play for post-rotation. Now, what you might be thinking is, what do you mean? There's tons of decks post-rotation. There is. However, all the decks that I have played are all rotating. Lugia V-Star, Regidrogo V-Star, Snorlax Stall, and a couple other Gardevoir and the Refinement package is leaving. A lot of the decks that I have played or are currently playing, unfortunately, rotate. So Gouging Fire EX kind of sparked my interest, and I was like, this deck looks pretty fun. And I've been on quite the win streak with this deck lately, and I'm really excited to showcase that deck here with you guys today. So let's get right in to that deck list. Already here at that deck list, starting us off with, of course, the star of the show, Gouging Fire EX. At its first attack, Heat Blast for 2 fire energy, or sorry, 1 fire energy, 1 normal energy, 60 damage. And then its second attack, Blaze Blitz for 260 damage for 2 fire and 1 colorless. For 260 damage, this Pokemon can't use Blaze Blitz again until it leaves the active spot. 230 HP, basic, weak to water, which is a pretty solid weakness to have, especially with like Radiant Greninja and Palkia both rotating. And Chien-Pao, unfortunately, kind of being on the back burner as well, definitely helps this deck shine in that kind of way. But some of the other key things I want to point out with this deck here is you're going to see a lot of different one-ofs as far as Pokemon goes. We got Iron Bundle in here for that Hyper Blower. Once during your turn, Pokemon's on your bench. Switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the Pokemon with the bench. If you do, your opponent gets to pick as the downside, but if you do, you discard this Pokemon and all attached cards. Can put your opponent's pretty awkward spots. We also have Roaring Moon EX, kind of a backup attacker in here, and to also handle things like Charizards and Dragapults and stuff like that. Its first attack, Frenzy Gouging for double dark and 1 colorless. Knock out your opponent's active Pokemon if your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out. In this way, this Pokemon does 200 damage to itself. And then Calamity Storm for double dark and 1 colorless energy, 100 plus. You may discard Stadium and play. If you do this attack, does 120 more damage. So hitting for 220, pretty solid. And we are playing 4 Magma Basin in here. We'll get into that Stadium a little bit later, but it opens up to be able to use that Calamity Storm attack. We also have Munkidori in here for that Adrena Brain ability. Once during your turn, this Pokemon has any dark energy attachment, move up to 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And once again, I said it'll pair really nicely with this Magma Basin. Once during each player's turn, that player may attach a basic fire energy card from their discard pile to one of their bench Pokemon. If a player attached a card in this way, you put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So, helps with the turbo kind of variant that we want to be putting energies on our Gouging Fire, our Delphox, or our Entei. And also opens up the fact that we can just move the damage counters off of that Munkidori to our opponent's Pokemon, and helps us out quite a bit. In the current format right now, V-Stars have 280 health, right? 280 HP. Blaze Blitz does 260. Magma Basin, put 1 on. Munkidori, move it. 2 damage. So 20 damage plus that 260. We're hitting 280. And pretty helpful also in the later kind of formats, being able to kind of just math out some better numbers. We're able to kind of move some damage counters around. Instant KO a Cleffa can be pretty helpful as well, especially because Cleffa is looking to be pretty dominant going forward here. We also have Delphox V in here for that magical fire attack, double fire and 1 colorless, 120 damage, put 2 energy, attach this Pokemon in the Lost Zone. This attack also does 120 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. We have Fezandipiti for the Flip the Script, Mew for the free retreat and that restart ability. And of course, we can also move energy to use that genome hacking attack. Choose one of your opponent's active, choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. Then we have Entei V in here, Fleetfoot. If it's in an active spot, draw a card, Burning Rondo. 1 fire, 1 colorless, 20 damage. This attack does 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon. So pretty helpful. And then we have Flutter Mane in here with that Midnight Fluttering ability. As long as Pokemon's in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon, or your opponent's active Pokemon has no abilities except for Midnight Fluttering. Very helpful with decks like Iron Thorns or decks like Charizard Miraidon, I mean. Very helpful with decks like that. Hexerl 3 colorless energy, 90 damage, put 2 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon any way you like. Pretty helpful there. Radiant Greninja, we got that concealed cards ability, discard energy, draw 2. Squawkabilly with that Squawkin' Seeds, discard your hand, draw 6. And then we have 4 Professor Stardust Vitality, really just being able to attach the energy to our ancient Pokemon. So being able to put the energies to Gouging Fire, Flutter Mane, or Roaring Moon if we need those two, but really being able to put the fire energy to that Gouging Fire is going to be pretty key here. So you choose two of your ancient Pokemon, attach a basic energy from discard pile to each of them. If you do, draw 3 cards. We got 3 Boss, 1 Iono, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Earthen Vessel, 3 Trekking Shoes, 3 Energy Switch, 3 Nest Ball, 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, 1 Switch Cart, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Pal Pad, 1 Forest Sealstone, 4 Magma Basin, 6 Fire Energy, 3 Jet Energy, 3 Dark Energy. The 3 Jet Energy is in here to really be able to just kind of shove Gouging Fire or our Roaring Moon or something up into the active spot and be able to just kind of have that speed going. And we're also playing Secret Box in here for the A-Spec of choice. You can only use this card if you have discarded 3 other cards from your hand. Search your deck for an item, a tool, supporter, and a stadium. Reveal them, put them into your hand. We play the same card for the same reason that Miraidon does. We really just want to go fast, get set up, get our Magma Basin down, get our Forest Sealstone, attach it to a Delphox, find another card, use Professor Sada's Vitality, Magma Basin, attach, Jet Energy, shove up in the active spot, hit for, get the Munkidori set up, and then move the damage counters, hit for 280, and take some prize cards. And if we end up going second, it's even better because then we can just hopefully attack that turn and then just take a knockout on like a Regidrago V or a Lugia V or something, and we're taking 2 prize cards, right? And we're slowing down our opponent in the process. So that's the reason we're playing Secret Box for the A-Spec of choice in this deck. So now let's jump right in to that gameplay. Alrighty, here at the first gameplay clip. I apologize, I did end up kind of start recording this gameplay footage here after my opponent has taken their turn, but all they did was Drifloon, attach energy, and then pass. And at this point I have Greninja in the active spot. I've used Gouging Fire to the bench, so I put that on the bench, Nest Ball for the Flutter Mane, concealed cards, and then I drew myself that Fire Energy and that Magma Basin. So now we're going to go put the Magma Basin in play. We're going to go, okay, attach the energy, 2 damage counters. We're going to go Trekking Shoes here, discard that boss's orders, find ourselves that Earthen Vessel, discard that Fire Energy here, and it looks like we might have this game wrapped up. We just need a little bit of help with a couple things. Secret Box first coming down, and we're going to discard that Earthen Vessel and those 2 Dark Energies, getting Sada's Magma Basin and that Switch Cart and that Forest Sealstone. The Switch Cart is what we needed there to close out this game. So now we're going to go Sada's, attach those 2 energies, Switch Cart into the Gouging Fire, attach the energy, Blaze Blitz for 260, donking our opponent here, getting the quick dub over our Gardevoir opponent. I really should have started recording that sooner, but nonetheless, it is recorded. So now, real quick, stay with me while I jump to the second gameplay footage here. We got that rolling up. It looks like we're going to change this to 1.5 speed and make this big. I apologize for the clunkiness on that one, but here we are at the gameplay footage. And now on this one here, it's kind of interesting because this was actually one of the first games I had played with Gouging Fire. I had been playing Gouging Fire for probably the last 3, 4, 5 days now. And this was one of the kind of earlier games of it. So this is kind of when I was trying to figure out the deck and its kind of intricacies. That's the word. And just kind of how it really functions and stuff like that. So now, at the coin flip, heads here. Our opponent did with the coin flip and deciding who to go first. We want to go second. There's not very many times where you want to go first playing this deck. You really want to just try to get that turn 1 knockout as quickly as possible. The only time I could see where maybe you want to go second, or sorry, where you want to go first is maybe if you're playing against something like, I don't know, maybe a control deck or something, where you're not trying to, I feel like even then, just going second is the move, right? Because you want to donk. Pretty decent starting hand here, though, however. Gonna get that Gouging Fire in the active spot here. We're gonna have Roaring Moon EX, Squawkabilly EX, Iono, Sada's, Forest Sealstone, and that Fire Energy as well here. But also, I want to peep out. Look at the our opponent's sleeves here. That Umbreon with those absolutely beautiful flowers. I love those. I'm very boring. I just use the Pokemon TCG Live sleeves most of the time. And sometimes I don't even change the cards to the pretty versions. I have all the pretty versions for Roaring Moon EX and Squawkabilly and Gouging Fire. I just didn't change them for this because I just kind of was like, I want to play this. All right, so our opponent here going to start off with that Brute Bonnet in the active spot. We're looking at maybe Terapagos, maybe Cloth. We're not really too sure. So starting off on our turn here, kind of just unfortunate for us. We don't have anything to attach our Forest Sealstone to, and we don't really have anything. We don't really have a way to find it, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bench the Squawkabilly, bench that Roaring Moon EX here, and then we're just going to have to either attach the energy for turn or Squawk and Seize. And I choose the Squawk and Seize here. And I think the reason I choose the Squawk and Seize is because if I can find my way into Sada's next turn, then I can Sada's, put the Dark to the Roaring Moon and the Fire to the Gouging Fire, and we are cooking. So Nest Ball going to come down here for us, looking to maybe getting that Mew EX here for that restart ability here. And now I'm like, okay, I have Trekking Shoes. I don't really need Flutter Mane too much. I feel like it could be good because I could shut off Toxic Powder, but at the same time, I could just knock it out. It wouldn't really matter. And the reason I benched the Terapagos here, actually, or sorry, the Roaring Moon, not the Terapagos. The reason I benched the Roaring Moon here is because I'm not too sure what our opponent's playing, right? And I want the opportunity to have a second attacker for that Calamity Storm if I need it. So we're going to go Trekking Shoes here, discarding that Dark Energy, getting ourselves into another Trekking Shoes. Trekking Shoes, going to discard that Boss's Orders here. We're going to find ourselves into a Fezandipiti EX. And then we're going to go Ultra Ball here, discard the Fezandipiti and that Flutter Mane here. We're going to grab ourselves the Radiant Greninja. This is where I get a little greedy here. I should have actually attached, but I want to go, okay, restart, draw 2, and then I can conceal cards, and then I can draw more. So we're just going to have to see here. So we're going to conceal cards, and we're going to discard that Fire Energy, try to draw 2, and this is where I'm like, oh, I definitely misplayed, right? I should have attached the Fire Energy and not the Jet, and then I'm just like, I don't want to commit this Jet Energy to this Gouging Fire in the active spot. That feels awful. So the plan here now is I can also just commit to another Gouging Fire, right? I have Magma Basin in play, I have Sada's, and I have Jet Energy for next turn. So I could just Nest Ball, Gouging Fire, Sada's, plus Magma Basin, Jet, put it up, take a knockout, and we are cooking. So it kind of worked out in our favor a little bit here. It was definitely not the plan, but quickly became the plan B. So our opponent here going to bench that Radiant Hisuian Sneasler here. Going to go Nest Ball, taking a quick look through the deck, seeing what they got going on, trying to figure out what is the best route here going forward. And the crazy part about this is that we still don't know if they're on Cloth or if they're on Terapagos, right? So it could even be playing both. I have seen a deck multiple times where they're playing kind of the hybrid mix. They're playing a little bit of both. So very curious to see kind of what's going on here. Definitely taking their sweet time, checking that deck, really making sure they got what they got going on in their prize cards here. And they're going to get themselves that Iron Bundle, which I thought was kind of interesting here. So they're going to grab themselves that Iron Bundle. And they might even just be playing like a whole Poison Package type deck. I'm not too sure. Energy Lotto going to come down. They're going to whiff on that Lotto. Unfortunately, not getting any winners on that today. Pass to us here. And this is where I'm like, okay, we got this, right? We got the Nest Ball. We got the Sada. We got the Magma Basin. We got the Jet. We are cooking. So first, I misplay here and I go, oh, Sada's. Would you look at that? Unfortunate. But it works out because I draw into Energy Switch. So once again, I misplay a second time. But draw into Energy Switch, which does kind of work out in our favor. We can just Energy Switch and move the energy to the from the Roaring Moon to the Gouging Fire. But first, I need to find myself a Fire Energy, which I have the Night Stretcher in hand, so I can just Night Stretcher, grab ourselves the Fire Energy. We conceal cards, draw 2 here. Nest Ball, we're going to come down. We're going to grab ourselves another Gouging Fire EX, I think. Now, what I could have also done, actually, is I could have grabbed ourselves the Delphox V, Magma Basin first, Jet, Energy Switch, but I would have needed another Dark Energy, so I don't know if that actually would have worked. No, it would have worked. So I could have actually taken potentially 2 prize cards here this turn, but I went for the long con game and kind of was just like, I'd rather just get another Gouging Fire set up, kind of go that route and go from there. But the Delphox V play would have been pretty insane. But first, we're just going to Energy Switch, move that energy to the Gouging Fire here. We're just going to have to just take that Blaze Blitz knockout. But first, we're going to go Ultra Ball, discard Nest Ball, and that Magma Basin so we can restart for 1 here. Going to draw, got to get a switch card. Not really what we're looking for, unfortunately. Blaze Blitz, 260 damage coming down. Taking a knockout on that Brute Bonnie here, putting us at a 5-6 split. Now, I just had said that Switch Card isn't really the card we were looking for, right? Maybe like Sada's, but actually Switch Card is a pretty good card to get because now I'm in a position where I can just Switch Card out of the Gouging Fire, heal the damage, go into an Iono, or go into my Mew, retreat, back into the Gouging Fire, Blaze Blitz, and go that route. Our opponent has now played Iono, putting us in kind of an interesting spot. We're going to get Earthen Vessel, Sada's, we get an Ultra Ball, so not too bad of a hand here. Our opponent just trying to piece something together. They're kind of breaking a little bit, but we have, even with those two kind of subtle misplays, we are cooking, right? We are absolutely set up. We are rolling. We got tons of stuff going on. We are doing fine. Our opponent's going to retreat out of that Radiant Greninja into a Badoo here. Badoo going to use that Itchy Pollen attack, but first they're going to bend or play that Area 0 Under Depths, Nice Right Trick, grab that Brute Bonnet, and then Itchy Pollen for 10 damage. Your opponent cannot play item cards from their hand. So no Ultra Ball, no Earthen Vessel for us. But we're going to have access to that Sada's Vitality, though. And we're definitely eyeing that up. I kind of wish we would have had another Magma Basin. But we might not even need it. So we're just going to go Sada's Vitality, put that Dark Energy to the Roaring Moon EX here. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I could attach the Dark Energy to the Roaring Moon, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I was going to potentially just conceal cards in and try to find myself into more stuff, but I'm like, you know what? Attach. I have a backup attacker. I can discard their Area 0 Under Depths with that Calamity Storm if I can't find my Magma Basin to bump it again. So we're in a pretty good spot. Take the knockout on the Badoo. Shut off that item lock. No more item locking. You are not allowed. No more Itchy Pollen. We're not having it here. So now, off to our opponent. They're going to put that Brute Bonnet back in the active spot. And our opponent is just like, I can't piece this together. I don't have it. Your deck, I'm too quick. I got everything set up. I have two attackers ready to go, right? We had that Gouging Fire in the active, ripping and tearing. We had the Roaring Moon on the bench ready to go. We had the Mew EX drawing us cards, the free retreat. We had another Gouging Fire that we were going to start putting energies on with Sada's and Magma Basin. We were so far ahead in that game, it would have been really difficult for our opponent to kind of piece that back together. So really being able to showcase that power and speed of Gouging Fire EX, which is one of the reasons why I've really come to enjoy this deck a lot. And I feel like it's relatively consistent and it's tons of fun to play. But now let's jump right in to that outro. Alright, it's going to do for today's video. If you guys want to play the deck list that I played in today's video, I'll make sure to post it in the description below, ready for copy paste into TCG Live. And while you're down there, if you enjoy the content I've been making stuff for the channel, don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button. I really would appreciate it, especially because in the last, I think it says 30 days, only about 30% of you are actually subscribed. So definitely scroll down and subscribe, because sometimes YouTube does this funny thing where it suggests my content and it thinks you're subscribed, but you might not. So just check for me. Just check. And of course, if you want to continue supporting the channel in a different way, you can be like these two awesome people here, Evan and Odessa, and become a member here on the channel. For only 99 cents a month, you get exclusive emotes, badges, and member shoutouts, and of course, photo status updates, priority reply to comments, and a whole lot more. But that's going to do it for today's video on Gouging Fire being one of the best decks we've been playing right now, in my opinion. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!